Hi, this is Pat with Racket String Tips, and today I want to share some information on how to choose a tournament grade stringing machine. I've been looking on eBay, and over the last couple weeks there have been some actually that have popped up. There was a Gamma like 7500 ELS, I think it was. There was a Dunlop professional tournament grade stringing machine, and there's a Babolat Star 4, but it's really old. It needs a lot of repair. Actually, for the last couple weeks there was a Babolat Star 5. And then just a couple days ago, Baiardo, Wilson Baiardo came up, and it sold within, I think, 24 hours. So you can find those kind of deals. I'm talking about constant pull machines. You know, constant pull machine, just to kind of be on a level playing field here. Constant pull machine is going to be a computerized machine, right? You push the button and the machine will automatically pull the string. Okay, that's what I mean by constant pull. But there are levels of constant pull machines, right? So when I mean tournament grade machine, I mean one that you could actually use at a professional tournament, and the kind of machine that's actually expected at those tournaments. At professional tournaments, you're not going to see a Gamma stringing machine. You know, smaller tournaments, you might see a little bit more variety in the stringing machines. They're all going to be computerized, but you might see a little bit more variety. But if you start moving up to the higher levels, you know, the obviously, you know, the larger ATP and WTA and you know, things, anything in between, like Davis Cup and you know, satellite higher. You know, there's just a myriad of different types of professional tournaments, right? And so you're going to see the professional tournament grade machines, and these are the ones like the Baiardos, you know, Technifiber, higher level. You know, you're going to see Yonex machines. You're going to see Babolat machines, you're going to see head machines. Just depends, of course, you know, who's running the tournament, and they're going to use the same machine. So if you're at a tournament and there's 12 stringers, they're all going to be using the same machines. They need to keep that as consistent as possible. If you are at a tournament where there's maybe 1 or 2 stringers, you know, the smaller draw tournaments, that's when there's probably going to be more variability. So it really comes down to, when you are choosing to purchase a tournament grade stringing machine, there's, you know, I kind of wrote down some things that I think that, you know, possibly are things that you should consider. Okay, number 1, of course, what is your purpose and what is your goal in getting this machine? Number 2, consistency. How are you going to get consistency? Is this machine going to give you consistency? Repair and parts. If you need to repair the machine, you know, if you buy a used machine that you don't know the history of, you know, price. Okay, is there a price limit that you have, or is there a price that you would like to stay within? What about the wear and the age? How important is that to you? How important should it be, right? The brand and the features. Is there something that, a certain feature that you do want, and is there a certain brand that you want to start with? Okay, those are just some general things that I would be thinking about when I'm looking at purchasing a tournament grade machine. And while you are thinking about those things, there's really 4 important, well, actually there's 3 important ones, and then there's like an additional thing that that I kind of added to the list. But there's really 3 major things that a stringing machine needs to do, right? It needs to mount the racket, it needs to pull the string to secure it, and you need to be able to clamp the machine. And then all the additional stuff are kind of the gadgets and the, oh wow, wouldn't that be nice to have, right? So that's kind of how I break that down. Okay, so I'm going to kind of go over all that information in this video. So hopefully this is going to be informative, and if you get some benefit out of it, please send me a note. If you have some other suggestions, leave a comment, and please subscribe. Okay, let's get right into it. Purpose, goal. Okay, so if your goal is to string at a tournament, your goal is to get good enough to be a tournament stringer, then then you want to get a higher level machine. You want to get one that possibly you could travel with, one that you could use on the table. Look at the weight of the machine. You want to be able to travel with something that is, you know, not going to be too big and bulky. Okay, that's why a lot of times on tour, you know, many of the teams were using machines like, you know, back in the day they were using Babolat Star 4s, which are easy to transport. You can just put them on a table in a hotel room or whatever. At tournaments, you know, you would see those machines as well. Nowadays, you know, a lot of the, you know, Wilson has the Baiardo, and Head has a machine, Yonex, you know, all those professional grade machines. They're not really big, but they are, you know, generally they're all going to be probably 100 and some pounds at least. Now, if you're working at a large tournament, you're not going to be bringing your machine. But if, you know, your goal is to get into stringing, you want to have some experience stringing on a tournament grade machine, so it would be worth buying something like the kinds of machines that you would see on tour, okay? And, you know, I'll leave some of that information in this video as well. So, consistency. Are you going to be able to get consistent? What are the better grade machines? You know, if you're looking at comparing the Babolat, the Wilson to the Head, all those, right? At some level, they're all going to have some, you know, they're all going to be fairly consistent. They're going to be at a level where you probably aren't going to be worrying about that necessarily. But if you're looking at a lower grade professional grade machine, I mean a lower grade constant pull machine, there might be some variability in that, and you might be getting more consistency with the tournament grade machines for sure. Repair and parts. How old is the machine that you're getting? Has it been discontinued for some time? Is it from a major manufacturer in your country that you can get parts for? Because if you find a machine and you don't, you know, that's 10, 15 years old, you know, it might still be good and consistent, but what happens if it breaks down? Are you going to be able to get parts for it? Are you going to be able to get somebody to help you with it? So that's something that you got to think about. Price. If you are looking at getting a professional grade, tournament grade stringing machine, you're probably going to be looking at somewhere between $3,000 to $6,000. That's just an overview. I mean, that's just what I've seen. That's what my experience is. You're most likely not going to find anything lower than $3,000. Now, if you find a good used machine, definitely $3,000 to $4,000 is doable. Can you get something under $3,000? You know, maybe it might be a challenge though to do that. So just kind of think like, if I'm going to get a tournament grade machine, I might have to spend between $3,000, $5,000, or $6,000. Okay. And wear and the age, and again, how old is the machine? How many pulls has it had? Some machines will actually, you can get into the computer part of it, and it'll tell you how many pulls that machine has made, and then you can figure out by, you know, multiplying, or I mean dividing that by, like, let's say 40, right? Because that's about how many pulls each racket. Then you can kind of figure out how many rackets have been strung on it, and so it kind of gives you an idea. Well, has this machine, you know, had its life? Is it, you know, kind of to the point where, like, well, I might have to do some repairs, or, you know, what's that going to look like, and where am I going to go with that? So just keep that in mind. The brand and the feature. If you have, you know, for the most part, if it's from a major manufacturer, the quality is probably going to be fairly consistent among certain, you know, levels of machine, or I'm sorry, models of machine. Meaning that variety of companies are probably going to have models in different categories for that, for the tournament grade. And so it just kind of comes down to, do you want a Cadillac or do you want a BMW kind of thing? You know, they all are going to have their own nuances and so forth. And what kind of feature do you want? Maybe one of them has a certain feature and the other one didn't really put a lot of value in that feature, and so they didn't maybe put that into that machine. An example of that would be like an automatic way to, you know, you pull, it will measure the string for you, the machine. You know, you put the string through a hole and then it kind of like can measure. A lot of the higher level ones aren't necessarily going to have that, but one or two might. You know, I know some of the lower level constant pull do have that, but at a tournament you're most likely not going to really need that feature. But anyway, so those are some of the things that I think are going to help you figure out what kind of machine is best for you. Because again, when you're looking at tournament grade, you are looking at a machine that can mount the racket securely and create, or reduce the possibility of damage to the machine, and you want it to do it in the most succinct way, right? And you don't want to have 5 different buttons that you have to, or 5 different levers that you have to turn in order to secure the frame, right? On a 6, and they're all going to have 6-point mounting. And so, for the most part, having a center, turning is generally what you're going to see at the higher level machines. You're not going to have to secure 3 different places on each side, because you anything that can help save time, that's what you want, right? So the next thing would be clamping. What type of clamps are the best, right? You want clamps that quick release clamps possibly. You want them obviously to be able to grip the string and not damage the string. And think about how many motions that you have to make in securing that clamp. So if you're clamping and then you have to tighten the lever on the bottom, and then as you're undoing the string, you have to open the clamp, and then you have to release the bottom by cranking it over. That's just one extra step. If you have the quick release, basically as it comes down, it automatically releases the base, and then you can basically do that with one hand. So that's an additional thing that becomes a must-have at a tournament. And then of course the pulling, right? Well, the tournament grade machines are gonna be pretty much the same. They're gonna have the Diablo where you're gonna run the string through and then you're gonna secure it. They're gonna all have different tension speeds, adjusted tension for tie-offs. They're going to have just the consistency of that's going to be pretty much the same. But where some of the fun extras and the gadgets, I mean, that's like, the ergonomics of the machine, automatically raising to your desired height. You can program in different stringers in there, and then it just automatically adjusts the machine. You could have, a place to plug in your USB or plug in your phone to charge your phone. You can have certain tool trays. You can have a place that the reels sit in on the machine. You can just, just all sorts of more what I call the gadgets, okay? So, this kind of gave you, hopefully this kind of gave you an idea of things to look for when you're looking at the tournament grade machines. So there's a lot of places out there now, many of the online retailers are really targeting more the home stringer, the lower end computerized machines. So you're not going to find a lot of these higher level ones on, let's say, websites like Tennis Warehouse, Do It Tennis, Tennis Express, what else, Hollabird. Just, online retailers like that. You're not going to find a lot. I mean, I did see, I think Wilson does have their Baiardo, I think, on one of those sites. Sometimes maybe a Prince professional machine comes on. But most of the machines that you're going to see on there are not really the tournament grade machines. They're more kind of your entry level and mid-level constant pull machines that are more designed for the home stringer, because the prices are probably between, let's say, $1,000 to maybe $3,000. I mean, I know some of the Gamma and the Alpha and the what's the other brand? Alpha and Gamma. They're designed. There are some that are, $4,000 or $5,000, but they're still more the home grade machine, if that makes sense. So I'll go ahead and leave some of those machines, the tournament grade machines, in the description in this video. I hope that was helpful for you, and that's just kind of some things to maybe think about when you are looking to upgrade to the next level. And maybe your goal is to string at a tournament. Maybe it's just to get to that level where you can string at that pace and at that consistency, and it helps by having that type of machine as well. So I hope that helped, and we'll see you next time.